All the 5 elders have finally arrived on Egghead, and we will soon witness their powers in the coming chapters. We have been waiting for this moment for 20 years, and the Egghead incident appears to be even more shocking than we had imagined. Let's quickly review this chapter, and then I'll show you the potential powers of the other members of the Gorosei. This chapter started where the last one ended. This recording was made by Vegapunk in the past. Vegapunk's broadcast signal connected every single Den Mushi all over the world, and no one can turn them off. He told people that he would wait for 10 minutes so everyone could prepare their screens and visual Den Mushi. We then witnessed people from all over the world eagerly awaiting Vegapunk's speech. The other 4 members of the Gorosei and Marie-Joie are talking to Saturn. It seems they have some kind of telepathy. This raises 2 possibilities. Either one of the Gorosei possesses the power to connect to others' minds, or all the Gorosei are linked to Imu or each other. We haven't seen anything like this before. Their origins are still unknown. Are they even human? In this chapter, Luffy noticed that Saturn receives no damage, so he decided to use another strategy. Kizaru shot a laser beam from his eyes, but Luffy dodged it and then slapped Kizaru and Saturn together with his giant hands using a new attack called Gomu Gomu no Dawn symbol and turned them into a kind of flat paper. Then Luffy grabbed both of his opponents and threw them into the sea. Kizaru hit a battleship and we saw him lying down panting on the ship. Clearly not the best chapter for the Admiral fans. However, Saturn flew back like a boomerang and attacked Luffy with his legs. Saturn is still uninjured. He is the warrior god of science and defense, so most likely he has one of the strongest defenses in the world. But how can someone harm him if even Luffy can't do anything in his Nika form? At the end of this chapter, the 4 members of the Gorosei contacted Saturn again. They told him that they had no time. They can't allow Vegapunk to talk to the whole world, so they must stop him themselves. Black lightning began to surge on Egghead Island. Saturn touched the ground and 4 giant magic circles appeared around him. All the Marines, and even Luffy and Sanji, are in shock. Saturn had one of the best appearances in the whole anime. A magical circle that had a 5-pointed star shape and a number 5 symbol suddenly appeared in the middle of Egghead Island, probably indicating that Saturn was the 5th weakest Gorosei. However, using the word weak with Saturn is inappropriate because strong characters like Yonko Luffy, Admiral Kizaru, Zoro, Lucci, and Jinbei stopped for a second just because of Saturn's unusual strong aura. Now imagine the aura of all 5 stars. The 5 elders are some of the most mysterious characters in One Piece. However, we know their names and we have seen their transformations. Even these small details hold a lot of useful information. Saturn's devil fruit is not named yet, but most likely his powers are based on an Ushioni. Ushioni is a yokai from the folklore of Western Japan. Legend says that when a hiker or traveler makes eye contact with the Ushioni, the person cannot avert their gaze and the person's soul or energy is drained, leading to their death. Saturn showed us the same power at Egghead. There was an announcement that the Marines with the rank of Rear Admiral or below must not look at Saturn directly. One Marine made eye contact with Saturn and his head exploded. Before Oda reveals the devil fruits of the other Gorosei, let's try to predict their powers. From the silhouettes, we can assume that all 5 elders are based on yokais. Let's begin with Saint Warkiri. It seems that he has a trunk or fangs or horns. I believe he can transform into a supernatural being from Japanese folklore, Baku. It is said that they devour nightmares. According to legend, they were created from the spare pieces that were left over when the gods finished creating all other animals. Many authors have started using this creature in manga and anime nowadays. With Saint Mars' silhouette, we can see that he transforms into some kind of bird. I believe it's Kotengu. Kotengu behave like savage monsters. When angered, they throw tantrums and go on destructive rampages, taking out their anger on anything near them. They feast on human flesh and commit rape, torture, and murder for fun. These characteristics suit one of the Gorosei perfectly. Kotengu's weakness is overestimating their own intelligence when trying to trick humans, ending up being tricked themselves. Saint Nujuro is a complicated one, but most likely he has the Enenra yokai devil fruit. Enenra is a yokai made up of wisps of smoke. As the smoke rises, human-like faces appear and disappear in their form. Contemporary yokai scholars have also pointed out that this yokai's name sounds like the name Enma, the Lord of Hell and Judge of the Dead. head. We know that Zoro's sword is called Enma, so seeing Zoro cutting smoke, in other words, cutting nothing, will be interesting. To be able to cut nothing will be a good parallel to Zoro's master Koshiro's words that were shown in Zoro and Mr. One's fight. And Saint Shepherd has the Suiko yokai devil fruit. Suiko has the body of a small child and is covered in extremely tough scales like a pangolin's. They have sharp, hook-like growths on their kneecaps that resemble a tiger's claws. There is only one known method to kill a Suiko, which involves the corpse of a person who has had their blood drained by a Suiko. If Oda does something like this myth, I'm sure is going to be very emotional and badass. Saturn's transformation gave us a reason to think that Imu's devil fruit may actually be Yokai Umibozu. Perhaps no other yokai is as mysterious as the giant Umibozu. Their true form is unknown. Eyewitnesses report a great range in size, from slightly larger than a ship to a size so unimaginable that only the creature's bulbous face is visible above the water. That's how the Florian Triangle appeared in One Piece. It's very possible that it was Imu, but why? There are still a lot of mysteries in One Piece. But first, we must solve all the mysteries about the Gorosei. While Saturn's invulnerability is evident, it remains uncertain if other elders possess similar abilities or if it's unique to Saturn's role as the warrior god of defense. Either way, Straw Hats are in big danger. If other members don't have super defense, then they must have their own unique abilities. Assuming that Saturn is number 5, then it will be impossible for the Straw Hats to defeat 4 stronger characters than Saturn himself, Kizaru, Lucci, and the Marines. Luffy was amazing in this chapter. He played with Kizaru and Saturn like they were random Marines. An Admiral Kizaru can't even move, but interestingly, Saturn got no injuries. The fact that Luffy can't damage Saturn is both good and bad at the same time. It's bad because it's very confusing how Nika can't defeat Saturn. Is he really that strong? And it's good because it hints that Luffy still has much to learn and it's not his final form. Naruto learned the Rasengan and spammed it everywhere. I don't want Luffy's Nika form to be like that. He will have to improve even more. As I said, it's not the best chapter for Admiral fans, but don't underestimate Kizaru. He is fighting a Yonko after all. I don't know how Oda will justify Kizaru's actions, but Kizaru is clearly nerfed and hasn't used his awakening either. In his first clash against Luffy, they were on the same level, but what happened after that? Kizaru knew that he had to kill Vegapunk even before going to Egghead. Hopefully Oda will explain his motives in this arc. The Straw Hats aren't performing at their peak either, except for Luffy. Despite Oda featuring Sanji in every chapter, he's surprisingly nerfed too. Zoro is still fighting Lucci, and other Straw Hats are doing random stuff. Some are even sleeping. Hopefully the crew will surprise us with their powers, as there's still time until the Egghead arc concludes. With Oda introducing 4 significant characters, it suggests that this arc won't end in just a few chapters. The Straw Hats seem unable to escape on their own, so they'll likely need assistance. The Iron Giant, awakened for several chapters now, appears to be the most obvious candidate, and fans' favorite option is Dragon. Of course I want Dragon to appear as well, but sadly I think it's less likely. The Kamabaka Kingdom is too far away from Egghead. However, if he were to make an entrance, it would undoubtedly rank among the top 5 chapters in all of One Piece. Imagine Monkey D. Dragon, a character awaited for 2 decades confronting the 5 Gorosei, declaring war and rescuing his son Luffy. The internet would explode with excitement. If you're interested in Dragon's devil fruit powers, you can watch this video right here. Thanks for watching.